All right. Greetings and salutations, my friends. Thank you for tuning into the channel. My name's Greg, and this is Tone on a Budget. This is where I review gear that comes through here any of us regular guys might want to think about buying and playing. You know, I'm not a rock star. Nobody's paying me hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to go on a stage and play my bass. I'm just some schlub that plays in clubs and bars and out in parks and stuff, and you know, I'm lucky if I make any money at all with my playing. So yeah, that being said, today we're going to be looking at this baby. This is the Gibson EB5 2018. They haven't been made since 2018, and I don't know if they're ever going to make them again. And honestly, they probably won't, because I thought when I bought this thing, I needed a 5-string bass, but I didn't want to do an active bass. I wanted something that was passive, so I didn't have to worry about batteries dying in the middle of gigs, and I've had that happen with active instruments. It's enough to worry about my wireless. Make sure my wireless has got fresh batteries in it so it gets through the gig. Because I've had those die too if I forget to change the batteries out before the gig. I've had them die halfway through the gig because I left the batteries from the last gig in there. But anyway, so I went and this is a passive bass. There's no 9-volt battery in this thing. It's just 2 humbuckers that you got volume control, and volume for the 2 pickups, and then you got a tone control, and the tone control is push-pull. I think it's a tone. Oh no, that's right. The volumes are push-pull, and what that does is it splits these pickups into single coils. All right, I'm gonna say this. It's a Gibson, okay, but it's an inexpensive Gibson. It has I wouldn't call this gloss. I don't know if it's not a satin. It really doesn't feel satin. It feels glossy. But it's not a very high gloss. It's not a very deep clear coat. The finish is very thin on these things. I've got a spot right here. Let's see if you can see it. Right there. My fingernail did that. Just dug into it there, and it went right through the finish down to the wood. Not very thick at all. It's got Gibson die-cast sealed tuners, not the greatest tuners. I guess it's got a synthetic bone nut. The one good thing about this thing is it's got a Babish bridge, which, I mean, this is a really high-quality bridge. I don't know why they put that on this, because the rest of the bass is not super high quality. These fret ends, they're not sticking out a lot, but you can feel them. They're there. They are protruding slightly. Not enough to cut you like on a real cheap bass, but you can feel them. They're there. When you run up and down the neck, I can feel the side of the neck and the frets sticking out just a little bit. So I mean, that's an issue. Let's see if you can see this. The strings are not aligned very well across the fretboard. Let's see if I get you to see this. You see that? Where the D string comes? This D string, if these were aligned right, it should be running straight across those markers, the inlays. at the third, fifth, and seventh frets here, and all the way down the neck. And you can see they're not. They're off to one side. So the strings are not lined up very well. Which means to me either the neck is not installed properly, or this bridge was installed slightly too far that way. So that's the issue. That's another issue. I'm going to show you the tone controls and the each pickup and the push and the pull, but I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, these things are Gibson mudbuckers. And you're going to see that in a minute. It's kind of pathetic. Anyway, if you haven't guessed by now, I'm not giving this bass a thumbs up. It's maybe a thumbs sideways. Could be a thumbs down. I'm not crazy about this bass. I guess I got a use for it, but you're going to see. All right, I'm gonna kill the mic here, and I'm gonna play this thing so that you can hear it. I'm using my Hartke LH1000, and I've got the line out of that thing, XLR line out, going straight into the board, and the board going straight into the computer. There's no processing whatsoever going on. It's just going right into the computer and being recorded as is. The board is EQ'd flat. Okay, so what you're hearing is what this bass sounds like. And what I'm going to do is once I play this thing, I'm going to plug in like my Rickenbacker here, or my jazz bass, and show you the difference. In fact, I'm going to use the jazz bass. Okay, this is a made in America, made in the USA, Gibson EB5. Check this out. Okay, listen to this. Okay, there you go. This thing is, I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I don't like the tone of it. Um, Made in America base, but they were cheap to begin with. Um, I've got this thing a couple of years ago. It was found on a warehouse shelf, still sitting in its box, unsold. It was forgotten since 2018 and been laying there. And I bought the thing in 2021. I got it at a discount because it was new old stock. I didn't pay full price for it. I figured, what the heck? It's a Gibson. It's made in America. How bad could it be? Um, I'm not crazy about Gibson bases. I've had both the different types of Thunderbirds, the latest non-reverse, or yeah, the non-reverse and the older reverse renditions of it, of the Thunderbird. Didn't like them. The newer Thunderbird had a lot of issues, quality issues. The biggest one was that the neck and the fretboard were not glued together properly. The fretboard was slightly off center on the neck, so you had an edge on one side, and the fretboard, it wasn't cut right. So you had one side felt smooth. You couldn't tell where the fretboard ended and the neck started. The other side, you can definitely feel it. There was an edge there, and you could see it too visually when you looked at it, when you inspect it closely. So Gibson, I sold off all my Gibsons. I'm done with Gibson. This is the only Gibson I have left, and I'm probably going to sell this thing too. This is kind of a thumbs down on the EB5. I'm not crazy about it. I don't know what they were thinking. The pickups are terrible. Maybe if there was a preamp on it, they might be better. But there's not a lot of clarity to the pickups. They're real muddy sounding. You could tell on the B, the E, and the A string, especially. It sounds like there's like a blanket laying over the strings. They have no oomph, no clarity, no articulation at all. It's muddy. It's the best way to put it. They're just muddy, and it doesn't start to clean up till you get to the G and the D. And I mean, that's, sorry. It's not what I would expect out of Gibson. This is not a great Gibson product, and I cannot endorse it. Sorry, Gibson, but this is subpar, man. Now here, I want you to hear, just so you know that my setup, okay, my gear here, is not the cause of the mud. This is a Geddy Lee signature jazz bass. And actually, brand new, these things cost about the same that these things cost brand new. Okay, let me kill the mic. Huge difference, right? So anyway, this has been the Gibson EB5 of 2018. They only made these. They only made these. This particular version, they had a different body style before this. That they only made for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And then these, they changed the body style for 2017 and 18. Made this Tobias looking body style. I think the earlier ones, the 2015 and 2016, or maybe it was 2014 and 2015. They took a year off on 2016. I don't know. But that body style was cooler, although just judging by the shape of it, it didn't look like it was balanced right. It would probably neck dive. That's one thing this doesn't do. It's balanced nicely. It does not neck dive at all. It actually, as far as playability, it's decent. But that's it, man. For a Gibson bass, I'd expect a Gibson bass to be just a beast. And yeah, this thing's just lacking. The tone is either all mud or turned all the way. You turn that tone knob all the way up. It's still mud. It's just not as muddy. Don't know, but there you go. Gibson EB5. I would steer clear of this one. It's not what you would expect from Gibson USA. Anyway, thanks for watching the channel. Appreciate it. I hope this was helpful. Got any comments? If you've got one of these things, or have questions about it that I didn't answer in the video, please mention it in the comments, and I get back to everybody. As long as you're cool and you don't act like a jerk in the comments. I've had some people come out and talk a lot of crap, and I delete them and block them. But as long as you're cool, you're respectful. I'll deal with any question, any idea about these things, any feeling about these things, whatever. Talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. All right, I'm Greg. This is Tone on a Budget, and peace. God bless.